Good morning, students of Standard 8. Welcome back. First of all, a very happy new year to all of you. Now, welcome back yet another session of History and Civics. Today, the main topic of our discussion would be the Great Uprising of 1857 or the Revolt of 1857. The Revolt of 1857 is a great landmark in the history of Indian national movement. It is also known as the first war of independence, as all sections of the society, the peasant, the farmers, the doctors, the lawyers, all took active part to uproot the British regime in India. Therefore, it is also known as the first war of independence. Though the revolt was suppressed by a heavy hand, but the will of the people did not remain suppressed. So whenever they found an opportunity, they revolted against the British in full vigor. And the British tried to suppress this revolt with a heavy hand. But there were certain sporadic revolts that took place after this. That was like the Kuka revolution in Punjab, the Indigo revolution in Bengal, the Santhal outbreak in Bihar, and again the Munda revolution in Bihar and the Rampa revolution in Andhra Pradesh were some of the revolts that took place after the revolt of 1857. So there were numerous causes that were responsible for the revolt of 1857. So now we'll enumerate the different causes that led to the revolt of 1857. So I have summarized the revolt of the causes into three distinct parts, that is the economic causes, the political causes, and the social causes. Yeah? So the first we will deal about with the economic causes. Now the Indian economy was shattered by the British. They took no positive measures to take initiative to develop the Indian agriculture and industry, but they charged high revenue demands from the peasants. The revenue collectors were very harsh, and the company levied heavy charges which the farmers could not pay, and hence they had to depend on their crops from the money lenders to buy seeds and other facilities to grow the crops. And as a result, if they were not able to pay their money to the landlords, so therefore they had to give their land, and so therefore the high revenue demand created a panic among the people, and this also fostered a major cause for the rise of against the British. Yeah? Second is the machine-made goods. Now, India was termed as the draining of Indian economy was shattered because the Indian resources were drained to England, and from there they were made the finished goods, the machine-made goods came to Indian markets, and they were sold at a very low price. The Indian cottage industries and the native industries shattered because the machine-made goods were far cheaper than the handmade goods. So as a result, there was immense competition of the goods. So the native industries, the cottage industries all shattered because they could not compete with the machine-made goods. As a result, the economy shattered to a greater extent because all the raw materials were drained from India and taken to England and made the finished goods and sold them to the Indian markets at a high rate. So the Indian native crafts, native industries, cottage industries shattered because they could not compete with the machine-made goods. Yeah, that was the reason for the rising of the great 1857. Next is royal patronage. What do you mean by royal patronage? Those Indian merchants and traders, they had royal patronage, that their products attained royal patronage, but due to the British indulgence in their own goods, the royal patronage goods were not being supplied in the market, or they had no demands, and as a result many of the traders, many of the businessmen, and they were jobless. They remained jobless because their royal patronage were not taken into consideration, and so they lost their jobs and their goods were not in high demand in the Indian markets. So these were some of the economic causes that led to the rise of the revolt of 1857. Clear, all of you? Next, second part, we take the political causes. So the political causes were also responsible for the rise of the people against the British regime. So first is policy of annexation. The British followed a policy of annexation, that means to annex the states and increase their territorial expansion. So in that they took out certain laws that is called the subsidiary alliances. So what is subsidiary alliances? Lord Wellesley, he introduced a system known as the subsidiary alliances. So according to this alliance, so a British regiment had to be kept in the court of the native Indian ruler, and all the expenses and everything had to be borne by the princes. So as a result, what happened? The British kept on demanding or increasing the rent, and all the salaries of the soldiers and other workers had to be paid from the Indian territories. So they became not able to pay, and so that kingdom automatically were transferred to the British kingdom. So that was another drawback. Secondly, we have doctrines of lapse. So doctrines of lapse means, according to this, it was started by Lord Dalhousie. So he stated that means if a native ruler died without leaving his actual successor, that kingdom would automatically be transferred to the British Empire. That means no adopted son would be allowed to inherit that throne, according to this doctrine. And therefore, Rani Lakshmi Bai was not allowed to adopt the son. So therefore, the states of Satara, Nagpur, Jhansi, they fell victim to Dalhousie's doctrines of lapse. Next, we have annexation of Awadh. Awadh, a state, was there, and it was annexed by due to maladministration or mismanagement. The government said that it was mismanagement, and therefore it had to be given back to the British. So therefore the British tried various ways to expand their territorial expansion, and these were some of the ways in which they tried to increase their territories in the Indian subsoil. And all this made the people frustrated, and they rose against the ugly regime of the British rule in India. Finally, we have the social causes. The social causes were the Indians felt that the British were interfering in the social norms or the social conditions, like the sati pratha or the sati system. So the sati system was abolished in 1829 with the help of Lord William Bentinck, and therefore they felt that the British were interfering in the religious affairs of the Indians, and that they also legalized the widow remarriage. This they thought was against the Indian norms. Then second is the racial discrimination. The British followed a policy of racial discrimination, that is, they treated Indians as a lower caste, inferior, and therefore it was all European hotels and restaurants were not meant for the Indians, and Indians were not allowed to enter the restaurants or the hotels meant for the Europeans. And it was written there that Indians and dogs not allowed. Therefore, they followed a policy of racial discrimination. They made Indians far inferior compared to them. They thought that Indians were very inferior. They are not destined to rule. It is the British who have the power to destine to rule the Indians. Therefore, they followed a racial discrimination. So this also created a havoc to the Indians, and they revolted against the British. Finally, the educated Indians. Many Indians, they went to foreign and received the Western educations, and when they came here and they studied the government and tried to demand their rights, and asked more in higher post in the government offices, but they were not denied. But they were not given the post because the high posts were only reserved for the British. And therefore the educated Indians, they got frustrated and they also formed their parties. In one of this, I give you the example like S.N. Banerjee, Surendranath Banerjee was the first Indian to complete the Indian Civil Service, but he was not denied any post in the government. And all this frustration made the people revolt against the British. In short, these causes led to the revolt of 1857. I hope you have understood these causes, the enumerated causes over here. Go through with the topic, read the lessons well, and if you have any doubt, the next online doubt class, we will be solving your doubt. Till then, take care of yourself. God bless you.